Hey everybody. I don't have the thing anymore. I got rid of it. Didn't care. We've moved on to a new age. A new era. We have a project. And it's a couple of days late. I was supposed to start it probably before Thanksgiving. It is now after Thanksgiving. But I'm getting to it. This is an Electro Voice ELX118P powered subwoofer speaker combo. Inside this, there's probably a crossover. I don't know exactly how these work. I don't know if you plug everything into this and then it sends out a high signal, vice versa. It's got a pole mount so you can put a loudspeaker on top of it. Let's see. There's no sound. The speaker turns on. The logo light turns on. But when I hook up anything into the input, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't show anything on the level either. So that initially would tell me bad input jack. Let's get it plugged in and see what happens. I probably got this way too far from the wall. Oh yeah. Can I reach over here? Kinda. We'll go with this. Shut up. I don't need any commentary from you, doorbell. So this guy, I thought he said it was new, but that's been smooshed. That's been smooshed. Otherwise, though, it looks okay. It's probably 40 pounds, 50 pounds or so. I muscled it out of the garage with one arm, and I was feeling pretty good about myself at the time. But now my arm hurts. The little switch right there, it says logo, off and on. That's on. I'm assuming that's supposed to be on. We do have power. Let's hook something up to it and see if we get noise. We will just hook up ye olde computer machine here. Louder we go. Headphone to, I think I've got something like that. In fact, I know I've got something like that. We're going to be saying goodbye to this in a little bit. Part of the moving out thing included bringing an old, and I mean old, 100-plus-year-old desk out. And it's going to go there. There we go. No, it's the wrong way. Damn it. I don't have one of these that goes the other way. And I don't know if that's stereo or not. Doesn't feel like stereo. Doesn't mean it's not stereo. Just means it doesn't feel like it's stereo. We could use this. Because I don't need two channels here. I can fix it. My theory on the case is that it's a connector's has come loose. Now with him saying that that logo light worked, but now it doesn't, further makes me think that's the issue. Excuse me. Play me a song, computer. Play me a better song than that. Fireman works. Okay. Headphones plugged in. Sub. Volume down. Power on. Still have no logo light. Nothing. Nothing at all. Video stopped. I don't know why. We're looking for a bit because those are not Phillips bits. Those are Allen's or hex bits or whatever you want to call them. Thing, my little pack of bits doesn't have one of those in it. My Mega Pro does. My screwdriver, and I was sure I brought it out here, but now I can't find it. That's too big. You're losing points for design here. Electro Voice. Why would you make this an Allen? Are you discouraging people from working on their stuff? Would you do such a thing, Electro Voice? Here's the other problem. These are metric, and I don't know where my metric set is. So like I said, I don't know where the video cut off, but I unplugged it, had the power on, power off, power back on, power it on and off one more time. It's on right now. Just there's going to be a capacitor in there, and something like this is probably going to have a fairly beefy capacitor in there, and I don't want to find out it's still charged with my fingers. Call me whatever names you feel appropriate. I don't care. This is a 7/64 head, or the nearest metric equivalent. And if these were screws, regular old fasteners, we'd be done by now. Thanks, EV. I don't have a lot of experience with Electro Voice. Somebody gave me this really old PV guitar amp. It was a little 112. I think it was it's not an Envoy. I think it was just called a Studio 112, maybe? Thing was old. Thought maybe I'd get lucky and I'd have an Allen in there, but I don't. And those, excuse me, are both drill bits, so no help. Anyway, this guy had bought it was a Marshall from me when I was working at a store that sold Marshall. As much as I tried to talk him out of it, because I knew he wasn't going to like it, but he wanted a Marshall. So we bought a Marshall, and then about a week later he came back and he said, I'm really liking that Marshall. I don't need my old Peavey. I thought I'd try and find somebody to buy it unless you want it. And I said, well, not really. I mean, we're a Peavey dealer. I don't really want to buy a Peavey amp anyway. I don't remember what I was playing at the time. I think it was that Yamaha. Anyway. I said, yeah, so I don't think I want to buy it. And they said, no, you can just have it. I said, you want me to either sell it for you or you'll just give it to me? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, let's just assume that I can't find a buyer then. He said, okay, it's yours. All right, buddy. So we've got itty bitty little wire. That's going to be light, the power to the light. It's got to be. And these are our leads to the speaker. So that's a little powdery. This is the black one, negative. Or for black right there. That helps. All right, let's get this out of here. See something on there that doesn't look right off the bat. I need some pliers, I think. It's probably fine. It just looks weird. Just so much glue holding that thing in there. Okay. Black and there's red. Awful lot of schmoo right there. You guys see where I'm pointing? No. So we have power. So we know the jack is good. We know the switch is good. That's just caked on there. There's our fuse. If the fuse were blown, it probably wouldn't even turn on. That fuse is in a weird place. Also, I think that resistor at one point was glued onto the side of that. That's a diode, I believe. Not a diode, a relay, excuse me. And still feels seated, it's just loose. MOSFETs, God, there's just so much resin all over everything. I mean, look at that. Look at that mess. That was a mess. I'm sorry. And how can I see the top of those capacitors to see if they're any good, man? Sorry. That looks a little bulgy. Those look okay. And I'm very aware that a visual is not good enough for capacitors. But if it's blown, it's blown. And you can see it. Okay? all that white on there really doesn't make me feel good. The thing that I was looking at that gave me cause for pause. Let me get a pointer stick here. That's an awful lot of solder right on the top of those. Like, those have been removed and put back in, is my initial thought, and it doesn't look like they were done very well. That could be part of the problem. I'm trying to get this from every angle here. But, I mean, they're seated really, really well. This would be where our high frequency would go out. So if this did have a crossover built in it, it's the high frequency out. This is our low frequency. That would be high. So these two go to our speaker, come out of here. It's just a jumper. There. It's just jumping. I don't know why. I don't know what that's doing. It's just jumping, and I don't understand what it's jumping for. And that fuse, when I looked at the back when I picked it up, I thought it's probably a blown fuse, because I forgot he said that it even powered on. I still want to check that though. So let's pop this case cap thingy off of there. Let's grab something small yet robust, firm yet yielding to the touch. Let's pry that out of there. Of course, it's one of these ceramics that you can't really tell. But I have a trick. It's an old-timey trick, and it's going to involve the little blue toolbox. The little blue toolbox's lid weighs more than the rest of it, apparently. So, in a situation like this, where we can't visually inspect the fuse, we're going to check for continuity. Oh, look at that. Pretty soon I'll have 9 things stacked up over here. You'll be able to see. It'd be great. Please don't laugh at my multimeter. It's doing its best. Okay, fuse is good. You've determined if that fuse was broken, we wouldn't have any continuity there. So that's all right. Do we have, I'm sure this is fine. Because I didn't, well, it might not be. No, that's okay. Speaker's good. About the light. Nothing on the light. Oh, I'll bet it's an LED. Yep, there we go. Not enough to get the beeper to beep, but we got numbers. Because it's a diode, signal only flows one way, power only flows one way. So if you check it one way, you get nothing. You check it the other way, you get stuff. That's all right. So that tells me that the issue is after that fuse. That the light worked, but doesn't anymore. Tells me something. I don't know what, but it tells me something. These plug into this board. This side is our input-output. So this feeds into the power here, which comes out here to the power side, goes out to the speaker. And we're fairly certain everything on this side is fine. It's this side that we need to consider. Well, I may have to poke around a little more than I thought I would. I kind of was having a feeling that this was going to be easy. But again, I misremembered what he told me wasn't working. I was thinking he told me it didn't power on at all. That primary doesn't smell so hot. It smells like it overheated, is what I mean. There's a certain odor to this stuff. And anybody who has worked on any of this stuff will tell you what it is. Sometimes, like if it's a speaker coil that's gone bad, it'll smell like burnt popcorn. This is a little more petroleum based. We got power. May just have to ask the guy some questions. Like, did it used to work? Because it don't now. And really, the way this is wired, there should be something in between preventing, kickback on those capacitors. And the other thing we could check is that volume. Maybe the volume is bad. Maybe that input's bad. But I don't believe that to be the case. Probably won't get lucky enough for this to work on this specific situation. But maybe. I have seen this work in the past on other things. Admittedly, they were not quite so complex. Oh, whoops. We need to be there. I should be getting something. less than that. That says 20. So what I'm doing is I'm checking the volume knob. Because the volume knob will send out so much, and then the way the volume works is you resist it. The more you resist it, the less volume you get. And you resist on a volume knob, there we go, by going between, if you imagine a disc, okay, like a quarter, and there's a ring on that quarter, and there's a ring of copper, and then there's a little slider. When you turn a volume knob, you move that slider on the copper, and the closer it is to where the sound comes in versus where it goes out, changes the resistance, which changes the volume. If you ever get a chance to take one apart and look at them, do it. It'll make more sense. But I think well, that's 2.4. Turn it all the way down, it's 2.39. That shouldn't be. Okay, that makes more sense. All the way up is almost 4, all the way down is almost 0. Okay, I had it on the wrong setting. My bad. So, we know that's okay. Next thing, let's test this input. And we should be able to continuity that. Okay, that tells me it's stereo. Or, excuse me, not stereo. Mono. This looks a little melted. I can't tell if it's adhesive or insulation. I think it's adhesive. Okay. Right on top of this blue wire. Yeah. Looks like it got hot. I think it's just glue though. This still, and there's no reason, but that would tell me, you know, it got banged around somewhere. So I'm gonna have to ask the dude some questions. Like, did it used to work and then it just stopped? Did it used to work and then it kind of started to stop to work, or did it just die? Did it just outright die? Because that would be good to know. Because I don't have a capacitor tester. This one's a little questionable. But, I mean, looking at it from the side, it's just like barely. And it doesn't feel. It's got a little bit. But not much. Don't do what I just did, by the way. It's a bad idea. I'm sure they've discharged now and they're fine, but, you know, let me do it. Don't you do it. I was just hoping. I was just hoping. Yeah, I'll have to ask some questions. Should that board be crooked? It doesn't sit very straight. Don't know. We'll see. Appreciate you watching. Okay. This is going to be a pain in the neck to show you. But I found a schematic for this. Checked a couple of voltages, which I don't have a magnifying glass. And I'm old. And they're these big gorilla hands, and these are real tiny. But I have tracked the problem down to, I believe, this little chip right there. That's the one. And I did some looking online, and I have found that, yeah, that's been a known problem with some of these. Different versions of the same thing. The 112, the 115, the etc., etc. The ones that have a high and low, out, in and out, multiple channel, all that. It's the same chip in all of them. And that's the one that goes bad in pretty much all of them. So I'm thinking that's the problem. I don't have the proper tools for this. Excuse me. So I'm going to talk to the guy. He said when he got it, when he had just ordered it, it has never worked. It showed up pretty much all beat to hell. The box was. I don't think this is something that would have been damaged in shipping. I think it was just bad, honestly. So I'm going to encourage him to reach out to try and get this replaced. If not, he can buy another one of these, this whole panel. It's like 240 bucks. I don't know what the speaker cost. Something like this, probably about double that. Probably between 5 and 6, be my guess. This little guy is probably a couple bucks, but I don't have the tools small enough to get in there and replace something like this. I don't have the right flux. I don't have the right solder. I don't have the right soldering setup. You know, you almost need like a heat gun to do this stuff because it's so small. So that's our culprit right there. So I'll see what he wants to do. Unfortunately, this is not something I can fix for him. But I can at least point him to it and say, there's your problem. You gonna focus on that? No? Can I coerce you, please? Nope, you just don't want to do it. How about that one? There's a number on it. I'm trying to show it to you. Okay. Well, that's where it is. We'll see what he wants to do. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you watching.